Alright, hey guys, so we're going to go ahead and make a track in Songmaker today, which is part of the Chrome Music Lab. It's a really good set of tools for introducing some ideas in music, and this Songmaker is quite nice just for creating some little loops. So I'm going to go ahead and make a track in here, and then we're going to try and make the same track, more or less, in Bandlab. So it's going to be a simple track that just uses 3 parts. So we're going to have a lead, or a melody. We're going to have a bass line, and then we're going to have some drums as well. So to start with, in Songmaker, I'm going to go into my settings. I'm going to keep it on 4 bars, because it's just going to be a fairly short loop. But the scale, I'm going to change it to pentatonic. So a major scale has 7 notes, whereas a pentatonic scale only has 5. And this just makes it a little bit easier to make melodies and things, because there are less notes that are going to sound wrong, I guess. Alright, we're going to make it start on a low C, because I want to have a bass line in there. And so I have some higher notes as well. I'm going to make it 3 octaves. The other settings I'm going to keep the same. So now you can see I've got 1, 2, 3 octaves going up. You can see how they're split up by these slightly thicker lines. And each octave has 5 notes. Alright, and I'm going to change my sound to a synth. Yep. Cool, it's going to give me that more electronic sound. So I might go back into my settings. I'm going to make this 4 octaves. Oh no, I can't have 4 octaves. Never mind. Alright, I'll probably stick with those electronic drums as well. Alright, now the scale I want to use is a minor pentatonic. So rather than starting on the C, so C would be there, I'm going to start on the note below it, so A. So my scale is really going to go from here to there. So I'm going to start there, finish there. And like my higher notes. Oh, that didn't really work. That's my scale. So it starts and finishes on the note just below that octave line. Alright, going left to right, we have a beat between each of these vertical lines, and then those beats get divided up into 2. So what I might do is go ahead and put my drums in first. So I'm just going to make like put a kick drum on every beat. I might change that later. And let's put a snare every second beat. So that's just kind of a typical electronic music beat. Yeah. I'm going to speed that up a little. Let's get 140. Alright, now when I'm going to start putting my notes in, there's kind of 2 ways I could do this. So I'm going to have either long bass notes and short melody notes, or the other way around, short bass notes and long melody notes. That way they kind of won't get in each other's way too much, and because they're doing different things, it just makes the texture more interesting. So I might start out with some long bass notes. So in Songmaker you can't actually make a note longer, you can just repeat it. So, alright, and I'm going to make this even simpler, so I'm going to actually leave the C out of here. So I'm only going to use these 4. Let's go. Let's do that as my first. So I'm just going down and up by steps. There we go. So I've got a bass line. Okay, pretty happy with that. So notice I'm usually using stepwise motion, so just going down 1 step in the scale and up. Then I've got a bit of a jump here and another jump here, so just changing it up. Alright, so I'm going to do some short melody notes here. I can make them that long, but I think I'll just, to make a bigger contrast, I'll just make them half a beat each. So these would be 1/8 notes. Alright, so lots of ways I could do this, but I might start out, double up the first one, and I'm just going to go up a step, back to my original note, and then sort of do this kind of pattern. Let's repeat it. Let's do something different on the repeat. Whoops, exact repeat here. Let's keep going up this time. Cool, I'll finish it like that. So I'm pretty happy with that, although there are a couple of spots that don't quite work. So what have I got? A, G, E. Let's do something different here. Maybe not. Yeah, I think so. Alright, it's working pretty well. So basically I've just done this pattern, done the same pattern, but I've just shifted it down a step, done the pattern again, and then I've only really changed the pattern on the last time. So I've kind of kept this pattern going up and then just done a scale run down to finish. All right, let's try a different melody now. So maybe I'll use a different type of pattern. So let's go. There's a note I want there that's not there in the pentatonic scale. That's fine. Let's see if that works. So I've kind of done the same thing there. I've kind of done a pattern and then shifted it down a step. So maybe I'll do something different. Maybe that. So there I've kind of done this pattern for the first bar. Yeah, bar. And then I've done kind of the same pattern but upside down. So I've kind of just flipped it. So now I'm going to do this. I'm going to repeat it again. So I'm using kind of a similar structure. So sort of a pattern, a variation, do the pattern again, and then I'll do something different at the end. What do I want to do here? Maybe that. Maybe, yeah, so I'll just do this, I'll just sync it up with the bass line at the end there. Yeah, I kind of like how that syncs up there. So yeah, what I've done there, I've got the short notes contrasting with the long notes in the bass line, but then I've just doubled them up at the end, so they're doing the same thing, and that kind of brings them back into sync. All right, and let's just try doing a variation in the drums now. Let's do this. Yeah, so I'm just going to shift some of those across. So it's the fourth beat of every bar. Let's try that. Let's do that, just so we have something different at the end of the drums. Okay, and that way when we have the longer notes here, there's a bit more happening in the drums to keep some interest. Okay, I'm not sure I like that quite as much as my first one, but it doesn't really matter. Alright, so I'm going to try something different now, so I'll get rid of this whole thing. Let's go restart. And I'll just get my settings back. the synth. Let's get my drums back in. I guess I could try a different drum beat. I'm going to stick with what I got for now. So this drum beat's kind of just a placeholder. I can go back and change it later. So now I'm going to try some short bass notes and longer melody notes. So let's try maybe this. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to do this just a simple pattern. Alright, so I don't want too much complexity in a bass line, so I'm going to have a bit more repetition than I did in my melodies. Let's not repeat the same idea. Okay, let's do that. Alright, and I'm going to make some long notes in the melody this time. Melody. Let's start from the top. Alright, so I'm just going to do steps going down and then one back up to finish. Maybe I'll do that thing where I sing the bass line and the melody up at the end. Yeah, it's kind of nice. Alright, I'm just going to try a different melody now. Try something that has a bit more variation in the movement. I'm going to stick with these 2-beat melody notes though. Let's try that. Alright, so if you were doing this in Bandlab, probably what would happen here is because the melody is now obviously a bit less interesting in a sense than the bass, probably I would bring the bass, make it a bit louder, and this melody line a bit softer, so we hear the bass a bit more. But obviously in Songmaker, that is not going to be possible because we can't actually mix it. Alright, so I think I like the first one that I made, so I might see if I can remember what I did there. Or something close to it anyway. So we have I didn't think I was going to be able to remember that, but I guess I can. Let's change up the drums a little bit. Yeah, let's do that. Why not? Alright, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to save that. Sure, and I could copy that, but I'm going to download a MIDI file. Actually, this is going to make the next part of this quite easy. So I'll just open that in my folder. So I can go back and get that later. Alright, and now I'm going to go ahead, go to Bandlab. I might be able to just drop that MIDI file straight in. Let's try that. Yeah, right, it's kind of done it for me. Alright, so what do we got? Okay. Yeah, alright, let's do it this way. and then I'll show you the sort of manual way afterwards. Alright, so now I've got my drums there. See, the drums I think I'll do manually to begin with, so I'm going to delete that. And then we're going to spread these out, so I'm going to add another track. This one's going to be my bass. So I'll change it up to a bass. Yeah, that's pretty close. Alright, so I'm going to go back over to this track and go into the editor, and I can see all the notes that were dragged across from Songmaker. So if I drag that up, you can see I've got my melody up the top and my bass line down the bottom. So I'm going to cut that bass line out, select all those notes, cut, and go down here to my other instrument. Go ahead and paste them in there. So now they should be on separate tracks. Maybe I want to shift that down an octave too. So to do this, I'm going to select all of those, and I just click this -12 button. I'll take them down an octave. Yeah, that's cool. Not sure I love that instrument though. Let's try another one. No, it's a bit of an issue with that. One more. Alright, let's go with that for now. I could change it later, but now all I need to do here is just change this instrument from the piano. So let's make it a synth lead, big synth lead. How's that sound? Oh, not that. Let's try this one. Alright, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and create my drums now. Alright, so I just need the one pattern. Actually, I might have two, so let's make that a bit shorter. So what did I have? I think this. Clap on 2 and 4. That. And now I've got hi-hats I can put in as well. Okay, I'm gonna stick with the 808 kit. So I might put a hi-hat in now. So just the typical kind of rock setup is just to have hi-hats on every other beat. But if you want like a more of a modern sound, normally we have a bit more of a complex hi-hat pattern. See how that sounds. I'm going to make a new drum pattern here. So I'm going to be clear that. Maybe. What should we do? Do a little bit more. Maybe this. Might be too much. Done. Alright, and we'll keep the claps where they were. Double them up still. Alright, and we'll put that in there. Okay, let's loop that, see what we've got. that is my loop. I'm going to leave it there for this one. I'm going to go back to my Songmaker and maybe change that melody up again. And this time I'm going to put it into here manually, so I won't bother changing the instruments or the drums for that matter. So I'll leave the drums how they are, but let's make a new melody. That sounds like. Why don't I do something to change my structure this time? Is that going to work? A, G, E, C, maybe. Let's, instead of repeating, let's keep going up. Let's try that. All right, I'm going to go with that melody this time. And this time I'm going to make it in Bandlab, but I'm going to do it manually. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So my notes here are A, C, D, E, G, and then A again. All right, but when I go into Bandlab, and I'll do my melody first. So I'm going to select my track, go to my MIDI editor. You can see that I've only got the C's labeled on the keyboard, and I have a row for every note, not just the 5 notes of the pentatonic scale, so I actually need to find these notes myself. So this grid is already split up into two columns for each beat, so I don't need to worry about that, so it's going to work the same as I've got it here. I do need to take my tempo up to 140 like I have there. Let's do that. I guess I'm just going to type that in. So yeah, so I've got a C there, so if I come down I've got a B and then an A. So did I just close Songmaker? No, I'm just in a new window for some reason. Alright, let's put these back in the same window. Alright, so what I have is A, C, D, E, D, C, A, G. So let's find all those notes. So A, C. So I can just double click to place the note. D, E. So I'm just working my way up the white keys. That's a G there. And again, I can't just copy and paste this pattern and shift it because the distances between these notes are actually changing. It's just that Songmaker kind of eliminates all that complexity for us. Alright, so I'm going to make this longer so I can add some more notes. So I'm going to go up now, so just moving up a step in the scale. And going up again. Oops. So you can see you can end up having some wrong notes in there. And so now that I'm in Bandlab, rather than making those repeated notes, I can make them longer, stretch them out. Alright, so there's my melody. Let's put my bass line in now. Let's just see what I had. Yeah, so I've got A, G, E, G, A, D, E, G. And these are 2 beats each. Yep. So it will snap onto the grid if once you get it close like that. Yep, so that's the wrong note. What have we done wrong here? Oh, these notes are all too short. Okay, let's do that. I'm going to have to move them all across. What do we do with the arrow key? No. Alright, now we should be in business. Maybe I'll go back to my previous. I don't know if it'll let me undo that many times. If I just hold it. No, that's all I got. So let's bring that back. Okay. Now that I have this here, I'm going to arrange this into a track. But actually, for now, I think I'm going to leave it there for today. Just one other thing. You could see I did do a little bit of mixing there. So I've got these volume sliders here. So I just brought the volume of that lead down, and I brought the drums up a little bit. But you can kind of just do that by your ear, just whatever sounds good to you. So yeah, I'm going to leave that loop there. So I've done that in Songmaker and in Bandlab. And yeah, you can give that a go yourself. It's kind of a simple way to create a loop that just has the 3 layers using a pentatonic scale. And the notes of that scale are A, C, D, E, G. Obviously in Bandlab, you do need to find those yourself in the piano roll. Whereas in Songmaker, you can go into your settings, set it to pentatonic, and you won't have to worry about any wrong notes. Alright, I'll leave it there for today. Thanks everyone, and enjoy composing.